we had a couple different, I guess, pivots in our earlier stages. This was before the company was even called Genies. It was called Blend at the time. And we were working on a couple different apps. All of those projects and apps that we did work on in the past really led us to, finding avatars as kind of a mode, digital engagement and interaction. And so we kind of set out on, being an avatar company from there.
Hello, Alison.
Hi, how's it going?
Great. Last week, I attended a amazing event. It's called Artist Marketing, right?
Artist in the Machine.
Yeah, and then I met you at the venue.
Yeah, it was super fun. It was at a Nui House in Venice. And it was, you were there obviously, but it was such a cool mix of people, I think, across so many different industries and spaces, a lot of really cool artists and creatives and technologists, all working on kind of the virtual being space. That was the topic, virtual beings.
Yes.
But yeah, a lot of really great people. There was the panelists with some great speakers. Sally Slade from our team at Genies spoke there too. So it was a great event.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Okay, Alison, please imagine there are many audience looking forward to hear about your journey. Please introduce your name and what do you do in Los Angeles?
Of course. So my name is Allison Sturges. I am director of marketing at an avatar tech startup called Genies. We're based in Marina del Rey in Los Angeles, California. I've been actually working for the company for almost 10 years now, before we were even in the avatar space. We've always been in kind of the social consumer tech space. So we were doing a bunch of different apps and kind of social consumer type apps. And then we, got into the avatar space around 2017. And at that time, we actually kind of coincidentally started working with a lot of celebrity tastemakers, building custom avatars for them that then they could use for any of their own, digital activations, whether social media content, music videos, Spotify canvases. We did Paris Hilton's Genie did a performance in Decentraland, digital billboards, a really cool kind of range of activations. And as a company, that really led us to wanting to bring our avatars to everyone, not just celebrities, but also creating tools that would allow people to create their own avatars, their own avatar experiences, and even their own avatar universes. So I've been leading marketing now for about 2.5 years. And yeah, it's been great.
Amazing. Yeah, you mentioned that Genies has already 10 years of history. And then, if I remember correctly, Genies had like 6 or 7 times like pivot, and then now super successful, famous company, correct?
Yeah. Like I said, we had a couple different, I guess, pivots in our earlier stages. This was before the company was even called Genies. It was called Blend at the time. And we were working on a couple different apps. Some of them were like photo sharing type apps similar to Instagram. At one point we had a chatbot app. So we were kind of working on a bunch of different stuff. And ultimately, I think like all of those projects and apps that we did work on in the past really led us to, finding avatars as kind of a mode for, digital engagement and interaction. And so we kind of set out on, being an avatar company from there.
Amazing. Okay, so could you please tell us how did you join Genies? It's called a different name 10 years ago. Yeah. It's a great story. So our CEO Akash Nigam, he actually went to the same high school that I went to. Really? Wow.
Yeah, so we grew up in the same area, in the Bay Area, actually, Mountain View. High schools where we went to school. And so we were in different grades. We weren't friends. I didn't really know him in high school, but when he went off to college, he started building this app called Blend. And they started basically building out like a college ambassador program where they were working with different college students all across the country to help market the app on campus. And I went to Duke University in North Carolina. I was actually running track and cross country out there. And, because he knew of me and knew that I went to Duke, I joined on as an ambassador.
Ambassador.
Yeah, it was fun. We did a lot of crazy, funny stuff. We threw parties. We would, those like morph suits that people wear sometimes, like the full body, like neon suits. That was like a big stunt that we used to do where we would put those on and run around campus just passing out like merch or stickers or whatever just to get people to download the app. So that was super fun. And I think it was my junior or senior year of college. I actually ran into Akash at the gym during like a holiday break or something. And I was like, hey, do you guys have any internships this summer? Would love to work for you. And so he had me apply. I went through like a whole interview process and then ended up getting the internship and pretty much kept working with him and with the rest of the team since then. And got a full-time job with them as soon as I graduated.
Okay, so ambassador, and then joined a real employee. At that time, your company was like 10 people or 20 people?
Yeah, at the time that I joined as an intern, it was 5 of us, and then
I guess small team.
I know, so tiny. And then when I joined full time, it was still about 5 or 6 of us. I say it was 6 of us. We didn't start really growing that much until right around the time we changed it to, went into avatars and changed the company to Genies. Then we started hiring more. We did have some consultants and stuff that we were working with in other countries, but it was like 5 or 6 of us when I joined.
Amazing. Okay. So do you remember at the time, the first year or second year, what kind of role did you work on the company?
Yeah, when I first joined and I was working full time, it was, I think my role was technically business development, intern or something along those lines. We didn't have a marketing team. Again, it was 5 or 6 of us. So I was doing a lot of stuff on the marketing side of things. At that time, we had an entirely new ambassador program. So I was working with college students again to bring the app to their campuses. I was running all of our socials and our social media content. I was hosting events. And then I also, there were some periods where I was running some stuff with partnerships as well. And then from there, right around the time we changed the name of the company to Genies, and when we really started working with celebrity talent, we worked with Rihanna, Cardi B, Justin Bieber, Migos, a really long list of names. Me and our now current director of creators, we were kind of the ones that started basically working with talent. And so we were kind of managing all of those relationships, reaching out to people, taking in inbound calls, and really building out this roster of celebrity tastemakers, and working with them on their activations. So I kind of then transitioned into more of a partnerships type role at that time.
Amazing. Yeah, so, okay. How did you guys come up with this new name, Genies?
That is a funny story.
Yes.
So I think I mentioned to you, one of the apps that we were working on before Genies, it was a chatbot app.
Yeah.
And the way that it worked was, think about iMessage, you have all your different contacts and you have different messages. It was basically an iMessage type app, but you could add these themed chatbots into your group messages. So let's say me and my best friend, let's say we really love techno music and the 49ers and Joe Biden. I'm just making this up. We would add in chatbots for each of those categories, and the chatbot would then send the most, recent trends or news or articles into our group chat to kind of help spur conversation. And so the chatbots, we created this really cool kind of art aesthetic for what, the Joe Biden chatbot might look like, or the 49ers chatbot might look like. Each of them had their own avatar of sorts. And around, I can't believe I'm saying this story, but internally at the office, we used to call them,
Something happened.
Around the office, we used to call them weenies because they just looked like these little like weenie characters. And so I remember at one point in time when we were, transitioning out of the chat app, we were starting to dig into avatar technology more. Somehow we went from weenies to genies, and that ended up being the name.
Really? It was like the internal joke or meme, and then
Exactly.
Cute.
And then came to light with genies.
I see.
It's a funny name.
Yeah. Okay. So after chatbot, you guys like pivot, and then we have to start working on a digital avatar project. So how did you guys come up with it and decide on this totally new project and product?
So with the chatbot app, like I said, each of the chatbots had their own avatar identity. And if you think about chatbots in a way, were kind of like the first era almost of AI. I don't know if you remember, there was like a pretty big like chatbot boom, maybe in Silicon Valley, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, where everyone thought chatbots were going to be the next big thing. And so we were working on this app with chatbots. And, now if you think about AI, and this is something that we believe today, is in the future, as AI continues to, be used and go even more mainstream, and there's more and more use cases with it, there will need some kind of like avatar identity for, any of these kind of like AI agents that you're chatting with potentially. So looking back on it, this chatbot app that we had, like I said, each of the chatbots had kind of their own avatar type identity. And that really then led us into kind of the world of avatars and what online identity means and how people are using it through gaming, through social platforms, and so forth. And at the time, I think Bitmoji was really the only other like mainstream social avatar use case. You would send a Bitmoji over text to your parents or to your friends as like a little GIF or a little meme, and it was like a fun kind of interactive way for people to engage with each other. And so I really think like all of the apps that we had built, and then this chatbot app really led us to designing avatars, starting to build out our own like avatar creator, and really starting to bring that to celebrities and users, and now where we are, really building tools that can allow other people to create their own avatar experiences.
Amazing, cool. And then, so we already kind of forget, but 4 years ago, it was 2020, big pandemic. And then I know we love real event, in-person event, and then you are also DJ. But at the time, no music event, no social. So how was Genies' situation? Transition to new product, or what kind of situation do you remember?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think 2020 and really like the COVID era really like expedited kind of the mainstream adoption and even understanding of the power of an avatar and the power of digital connections, the power of like online experiences. And so I think through, during that time period, everyone was locked away at home. Everyone was spending more time online. If you wanted to watch a DJ performance, you were watching like a virtual DJ performance. NFTs obviously were booming at that time, so digital artwork was becoming very popular, and other use cases with NFTs. What else? Facebook changed their names to Meta. I think
at that time.
I think there were platforms like Meta and Horizon and Oculus and things like that, I think starting to get a little bit more ingrained. And then I think you also saw a really big push of, a lot of these bigger brands coming out of the woodworks and almost discovering, kind of these digital tools and the digital landscape and kind of the power of what to be doing in the digital space. And so I think that honestly created like a really perfect storm for us to really kind of capitalize catapult, all the work that we're still doing today, that we're still building out for our future roadmap as well, and kind of setting the stage and starting to get, again, like mainstream audiences a little bit more familiarized with digital experiences and avatar identities.
Amazing. Yeah, I remember. So no like a live concert. That's why they really need like a digital avatar or something like online concert. So they really need Genies product.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing. Okay, next question. Besides your work, tell us about your passion, like a hobby or whatever.
Yeah. Let's see, my other passions. I think, like, generally speaking, I have a lot of different hobbies and interests. My mom used to always say that, like, I'm not good at making decisions because I want to try everything and I want to do everything.
It's good.
Yeah. But I think the things that I've kind of like latched onto the most, like I'm definitely a very like athletic, outdoorsy person. Like I said previously, I ran track in high school, ran track and cross country competitively in high school. Got recruited to run at Duke. So running and sports will always be one of my passions and in my DNA. And then probably over the last maybe 5 or 6 years, I started getting into DJing. I had always wanted to kind of learn in college. I loved house music. I loved techno. I just loved it. If I was at, a party, I would always sit behind the DJ booth and just kind of watch what they were doing. And, actually it was funny. I think it was maybe a couple years after I had graduated out of college and I was DJing at a friend's party. I hadn't really gotten into it yet. It was maybe like the second thing that I was DJing, and Akash, my CEO, he was actually at the event and he was like, "You love this so much. Like, you need to pursue this. Like, you need to keep doing it." And he Venmo'd me on the spot and sent me money. I could buy my own like DJ mixer, my own like controller. So that was, I think, like a really great moment where it was like, okay, like I want to invest in this passion and this hobby, and other people, are supporting it and love it. And so since then, I've been DJing quite a bit. I actually DJ now with my boyfriend. He got into it around the same time as me, and so
Cool.
I know, it's fun. Usually we DJ together. We've gotten a lot of fun gigs here in LA. Obviously, but also friends parties. Where else? We've DJed in some cool places. Burning Man. One time I DJ'd at a venue in Colombia. I was like on vacation in Colombia, and I asked this club that we were at if we could DJ there. So it's been fun. It's a great way to connect with people. Always cool events, and love being around music.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so in the like a company event, have you ever played?
Yes.
Oh, lovely.
I am the designated holiday party DJ. So whenever we have our holiday party, I'm usually the one DJing at it, which is super fun.
Okay, next time I wanna join.
Okay, great.
Amazing. Yes, please. We have common favorite things. We are cat lover. Do you remember? You have two kittens.
Yes, we have cats. We love the cats. What was your cat's name again?
Neko.
Nico.
Neko means the cat.
Yes.
Yeah. And then what tell us about your cat's name, kitty's name?
Yeah, one's name is Josephine, and then the other one's name is Alvin. Josephine is a British long hair, Alvin's a British short hair, and they're very cute and cuddly, and they always welcome me when I get home, which is nice.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so last question. The time is okay. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Allison. Okay, tell us about your dream in 5 years and 10 years.
My dream in 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, your career and your like private.
Yeah, that's a good question. I ask myself that every day.
It's great. Like meditation.
Yeah. I don't know if I have a concrete answer for what my dream is 5 to 10 years from now. I think I have a lot of dreams and aspirations. I think definitely at some point in my life, I would love to start and run my own company. I don't know even what industry that would be in, but I do think that would be really exciting. I've always thought it would be cool to travel the world and like live in another country for either extended period of time or for even like a whole year. Even doing like the van life stuff. I love like RVing and backpacking and all of that. So I could see a world where I'm just like out in the world traveling. But I also think 5 to 10 years from now, I'll probably have a family and kids of my own as well. So we'll have to kind of balance all those dreams and figure out like when they all line up with each other. But yeah, I wouldn't say I have a concrete answer quite yet, but definitely something that I ask myself on a regular basis.
I see. Yeah. So in terms of like having your own company is great because you already have experience like from the super small team and then made a kind of middle size of a company now.
Totally. Yeah. I think the journey that I've been on with Genies has been a really great like learning experience, if nothing else. Obviously being at a company for 10 years, you see so many different phases of it and sizes and
I know
different projects and, things that we get to do. And I always say, I think that's part of the reason, that I'm still here is one, I think like the culture that we have at the company is amazing. So that's obviously, been a key reason, but I think two, I've had the opportunity to have so many different kinds of experiences with not only with my role, but with the company itself. So it keeps me on my feet and there, things are always changing and, moving forward. So it's definitely exciting.
Yeah, amazing. And then so in terms of digital avatar, this is kind of as a Japanese culture, we really need your company's technology and yeah, since we have manga culture, comic culture, definitely we are waiting for Genies coming to Japan soon.
Yeah, it's funny you see that. We actually have I guess like Asia arm of the company. So we have a handful of investors that are actually from Japan, Bandai Namco, Mixi, LDH, who's a well-known agency, and Verbal, who runs the brand Ambush. So we've actually done quite a bit out in Japan. We actually did a NFT drop. Now that I'm thinking about it, we did an NFT drop with Bandai Namco for Pac-Man for their 50 or 100 year anniversary, like 2021. So yeah, we've started to kind of like dip our toes into Japanese culture and into the space out there. I think as we start launching more of our products and tools here in the US, that'll only continue to be a big focus for us. And I think like there's so much of what we're building here at Genies that I think generally aligns with like the historical culture of Japan, like you said, with manga and anime and, kind of like online experiences. So I think it's a really great fit, specifically with Japan and even South Korea and stuff too.
Yeah, definitely. And then, okay, last question. So if your company has something like
we are planning to launch our own app called Genie's Party later this year. That should be live around like November, December timeframe. If you've ever played Mario Party, it's very similar in that it's one kind of platform or ecosystem. You'll get to create your own Genie avatar. You'll get to design your space and interact with your friends' spaces, and then play all these different mini games and avatar experiences. And what's really cool about our ecosystem that we're building is everything is interoperable with each other, which means, if you acquire something in one experience, you can bring that with you to the next experience, and it actually will impact or influence the gameplay of each experience. And you also acquire what we call like personality traits. And those traits can also unlock unique gameplay. And so, as you're kind of participating in more and more avatar experiences, you really build, your digital identity through what you're acquiring and how you're kind of interacting with those experiences. So yeah, we're looking to launch that later this year. We definitely have a lot of announcements coming out, so I would say definitely keep an eye on our socials, Genies on Instagram, or even our website. We have new blogs coming out on a regular basis. But yeah, a lot of exciting stuff coming up this year.
I see. Okay, so in this like end of the year, Amazing.
Yes.
And then, so if like our audience want to reach out to which medium is best for you, like your Instagram or LinkedIn?
Yeah, my Instagram would be great. It's at Allison Sturges on Instagram. So you can find me easily. Feel free to DM me if you're interested in chatting.
Okay, amazing. Allison, thank you so much for your amazing journey and story. It's helped many people's future.
Oh, you're so sweet. I appreciate that. And thank you so much for having me on the podcast. I'm excited for everything that you're building as well. It's super exciting to see you even coming all the way out to the US to, interview so many people. So I think you're onto a really great path with it all.
Yes. Okay. Talk soon. Bye bye.
Bye.